Hi there, it's Nicole for Lawn Fawn, and today I have a Happy Mother's Day card that features combining older and newer Lawn Fawn stamps and dies for this Mother's Day greeting. I love the little Mom Plus Me images and thought they would be fun to pair with greetings from Happy, 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 and then use some bright, fresh colors. I like to start my cards by laying out the dies and stamps that I'm going to use just to make sure that I think everything is going to fit. You can always build from there, but this is always one of those things I like to do. It just gives me a really good idea of where I'm hoping to go with the card design. I die cut a circle using a small dotted circle stackable die. I've die cut this from Bristol Smooth cardstock. And then I'm applying some picked raspberry and dried marigold distress inks to the circle. I chose to do something a little bit different than a traditional maybe blue and green sky. I wanted something kind of fresh and fun. I love this color combination. It's one of my favorites. I want to blend until I have a nice seamless blend between the two colors. Go back with my dried marigold a little bit. Then I'm simply going to take a little water from a distress sprayer, spritz it over the surface, and blot it dry with a paper towel. This is going to wick away the water wicks away some of the ink, leaving you with some nice light areas across the surface of the circle. I've also die cut a zigzag circle stackable to mat this on, plus a banner using the fancy folded banners. This is the smallest from that collection. The Mother's Day greeting from Happy, Happy, Happy is going to be stamped on that banner. To do some two-tone stamping for the images from the Mom Plus Me stamp set, I'm going to first ink up the grass images with celery, and then I'm going to just ink up a little bit of the images with jalapeno ink and stamp that on top for the two-tone look. Same with two of these small flowers. I stamped them with sunflower first and then went back with carrot ink to give them that two-tone look. The next flower is going to be stamped with ballet slippers ink. Oh, I forgot I did the heart first. For the heart, that's going to be pink flamingo ink first. And then I'll go back with lobster red ink. And I love the two-tone that this gives each of these images. It gives them a little bit more depth and dimension. Here's that last flower that I'm going to stamp with ballet slippers, and then go back with pink flamingo for the two-tone. And I even went back with ballet slippers again and inked it up just to kind of blend it a little bit more. Then I need to stamp the rest of my elements, so I need the happy greeting from Happy, Happy, Happy and the two owl greetings from Mom Plus Me. I'm going to stamp those with Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. This is a great ink for Copic coloring. And then I'm simply going to color in these images. For the Happy, 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 I want it to kind of follow the same colors as the background that I just created. So I'm using some pinks and oranges, RV 55 and 50 and YR04, blending those two together. Then I'm going to color in the owls with a combination of E40, 43, 44, and 49 with a little YR04 for the beaks and feet. The mama owl is going to be a little bit darker and deeper than the two baby owls. She'll be the only one that has this E49. I won't go any darker than E44 for the baby owls, and I'm going to keep them pretty light at that. Simply feathering in that color, building it up. I always like to start light and go darker. You can always deepen the color if you need to. Add a little E43 to the face where I've done E40 to give it a little bit more dimension and shading. I'm going to feather in that darker E49 now to really darken it up. I felt like it needed a little bit darker. Blend out with E44 and then even go back with E43 and blend that out more. The babies are going to be a lot of E40 and 43, and that's just to keep them lighter, to give a little bit of difference to the images so that they're a little bit easier to see, I think. So, so cute. These are some of my very favorite Lawn Fawn images. I think they're adorable. I'm going to add a little R20 to the cheeks and blend that out with E40 if it gets a little dark. That'll help blend it out so it's not so harsh pink. Then I'm going to take all the coordinating dies from Mom Plus Me and Happy 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 and tape them up with Post-it tape so that I can die cut everything with one pass of my machine. If possible, I always try to die cut as many images with one pass of my machine as I can. But I don't want to waste the Post-it tape. So a lot of times you'll see that the Post-it tape I'm using may not look as nice and fresh as this. This is a whole new batch. I kind of threw away all my old because it was peeling up and not very sticky. But in order to save it so I can keep using it over and over, I usually just stick it to the top handle of my Big Shot or my Post-it tape dispenser, and that way I can just grab it when I'm die cutting a project, and it makes it so easy to reuse it and get the most out of it. I'm going to lay out my images, make sure everything is jiving the way I think it's going to, that it's going to look the way I had it when I had my dies and stamps laid out at the beginning of the video. I love how it's looking. I like how the scene is set up to be sitting on top of the large word happy. You can create just a little mini scene here. And in order to easily adhere these images to my card, I thought about I could use bling glue dots, I could use a glue pen, but to make it even easier, I'm going to use the Xyron Sticker Maker. All you have to do is run your images right through the Xyron, and it's going to make anything you put through it a sticker. Because everything I'm using is really small, this is a great option. There's not going to be any liquid adhesive mess, and I'm going to be able to adhere everything really quickly. So I've run everything through. I'm just going to make sure there's no adhesive showing around the intricate die cut of the word. And then I'm going to start putting it together, and you'll see how fast you can do this when everything is already a sticker. I'm simply just peeling everything up, popping it right in place, just like I had laid it out here a second ago, and there we go. I'm going to adhere my circle now to that zigzag circle mat. Take a black glaze pen and add detail to the eyes on the baby owls. Add white dots to the cheeks on the owls. I'm going to set that aside. I need to stamp the rest of my greeting. So far I just have happy, but I did die cut that banner at the beginning of the video using the smallest fancy folded banner die. And I'm going to take the greeting from Happy 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 that says Mother's Day, and I'm going to ink it up with 2 colors of ink. Greetings like this are super easy to do this with, and I love it because it's a little bit more fun than just 1 color of ink or even just a black ink. So I'm using Pink Flamingo and Carrot to ink up my words and then stamp those right there on my banner. I will fold the banner on the pre-scored lines from when I die cut it. And then I'm going to take some foam adhesive to place under the center part of the banner and some glue dots for the 2 ends of the banner to attach that underneath the word happy. The foam adhesive is going to pop it up just a little bit so that it sits up underneath there and is a little bit more interesting and fun. I want to make sure I center it right there underneath the word so it's perfectly centered. And there's my cute little banner. To add a little more detail to this, I'm going to take some Nouveau Crystal Drops in Green Apple for the center of the flowers, glossy accents for the owl's beaks and feet. It's going to give them a little bit of gloss and shine. The Nouveau Crystal Drops in the center of the flowers make those, give them a little bit of a two-tone look, even more two-tone look, finishes them off nicely instead of those white flower centers. Then I'm going to take that small heart from Mom Plus Me and ink it up with Pink Flamingo and Lobster and ink or stamp it all over the surface to really fill out the background with some additional hearts. It's going to make the background even more fun. So I'm inking it up with pink flamingo, rolling it into the lobster ink just a little bit, and then stamping it all over the surface of the circle. I've die cut 2 stripy backdrops now from Bristol Smooth cardstock. This is going to be my background, and when I overlap them, I flipped one of them over, you can see, it's going to create a lattice background. And I want my background to coordinate with the distress inked background that I created for my scene. So I'm applying picked raspberry and dried marigold distress inks to both of these pieces. The pink or picked raspberry goes down about 1/3 of the way, and then the dried marigold comes up and meets that and blends together for the rest of the design. I'm going to spritz both of these with water from a distress sprayer, blot those dry. This is just to help coordinate, gives it some interest and some lighter areas all over that, what is going to be lattice work there in the background, colorful lattice. And then I'm going to glue these to the front of a top fold card base. These are A2 sized panels. And I just took a glue pen, drew some lines of glue all over this, start with my background, and then I'll pop the other one on top, and I'm going to put something heavy on those to hold it down while the glue dries. And then I'll put some foam adhesive on the back of my circle and pop that in place right there on the upper part of my card. You can see where the pink goes to orange and it coordinates perfectly with the background. To finish my card, I'm going to stamp an additional greeting from the Mom Plus Me stamp set that reads, "Owl, always love you," on the inside using the jet black ink. Thanks for joining me today for this Lawn Fawn Mother's Day card. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more videos featuring Lawn Fawn stamps and dies that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.